Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. From touchdowns on liquid air on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
There we go. Can we all just get along, y'all? What is happening, man? What is happening? Welcome to this Wednesday edition of Pro Fan Talk. And it has been all AJ all day with a late run by Shador Sanders. Oh, my God. If y'all saw my tweet earlier, I was curious as to why AJ Brown, who never said anything other than the quote, is getting more drama than what Travis Kelce did on the sideline to his head coach on primetime TV. Not sure about that. And just to add to it, AJ was right again. Except this time he didn't say anything. But we're going to get into it. What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Carlos? First out the limo. Chris 3K, my guy. I heard you on WIP the other day, Chris. I knew that was you, bro. Knew that was you. Key Shorty, what's good? Alex, what's good? Quentin, what's good? But yeah, I was thinking about that question today about AJ. And I was like, why is AJ generating so much traffic? But the whole situation with Travis Kelce, and mind you, that was the second time he had done that. That was the second time he kind of showed up his coach on the sideline on national TV, and ain't nobody say shit about it. Nobody said anything about it. I think it spiked in interest and then went right back down. That's good. I believe somebody said, they need that type of stuff on the sideline or something to that effect. Like it was a positive thing. And I was like, man, they be moving the goalposts. Something awful, don't they? So it's kind of crazy. Yeah, man. Glad Kelce was okay. I was debating if I wanted to get into the WNBA talk tonight because my season is over. Indiana's out. It is my opinion that, and this will be my last thing on the WNBA because this is Eagles talk tonight. But if Kelsey Mitchell is in there in the fourth quarter, Indiana wins that game. I will say that. But she wasn't. They didn't. Congrats to the Aces. I want to see the Aces beat the Fever because if I get beat, I want to say I got beat by the best. So I'm throwing my money on the table for the Aces. Now, whether or not they can do it against the Mercury, I really don't want the Mercury to win. I really don't. The whole DeWanna Bonner thing just soured me on her. Never had a problem with her before until she cut and run on Indiana. And not the fact that, that was my squad, but the fact that you a professional athlete that they paid you quite well to come to that team and you walked away because you ain't like it. It wasn't a fit. We can't do that. My dad always taught me if you start it, you're going to finish it. Now, if you don't like it, we'll just make sure you ain't got to do it again. But if you ask me to, if we was doing football or basketball or whatever the situation was, if you start it, you ain't quitting. You're going to finish it. So anyway, back to AJ. I saw the press conference today. Him taking ownership and all of that type of stuff. And it was a good conference. He had a good conversation. He had good things to say. Very humble, very uh self in a lot of self, I guess, analysis. Um, but my question is, what did you think he was going to say? Did you think he was going to just get on the mic and just ether everybody, or like I don't understand what people expected of him. I don't understand why people. Well, let me be specific. I don't understand why fans don't get the fact that this is how the guy is wired. You've seen it for the last 3 years. You've seen it for the last couple of years. That this is how he is wired. I got an itch back there that I can't reach. I got to use my daggone ruler. This is how he's wired, y'all. This is how the sausage is made. So you can't get mad if it doesn't fit your taste. And here's the one thing that just irritates the hell out of me. And this goes specifically to people on the radio, WIP, Joe Giglio, um, I forget the others' names, guys that didn't play, that they're the mouthpieces and they got their opinions. And it's not about them being wrong, because it's all your opinion. Opinions are like assholes, everybody got one. But for me, what irritates the hell out of me is when somebody gets on the soapbox. And this was specifically in this situation. I was listening to Big Hugh and Joe Giglio in the morning, and he got on this rant about him just being so annoyed and tired of the AJ Brown thing. And why can't you just be quiet and enjoy the 4-0? And why does it have to be? And while I understand that, that's who he is. You take everything with the package. You want the elite level wide receiver. You want the built like a tank guy that runs a 4.4. You want the guy that can go up and high point the ball. You want the guy to be the leader in the locker room. You want all of that, but no flaws. That guy doesn't exist. Jalen's got his flaws. Devontae's got his flaws. Brandon Graham had his flaws. Jason Kelsey had his flaws. You think of the greatest Eagles that have ever put on the midnight green. Hell, even the Kelly green when I played. Everybody's got flaws. So to have the attitude just because it annoys you and you don't want to deal with it, and you wish that he could be a certain type of way. And that's the thing that always rubs me the wrong way. Why couldn't he be like this? Why couldn't he just let it alone? Why couldn't he just be quiet? No, that's his personality. That's how he lets it go. That's how he releases his stress. Reading the book. Would you rather have somebody reading the book on the sideline, or would you rather have somebody doing like what Jamar Chase did to Cincinnati the other day when he was talking with his coach, and it was a very demonstrative and animated conversation? You knew he wasn't happy. Or would you rather have another Travis Kelsey? Or would you rather not have another Tyreek Hill? Like, what do you want? What do you want? That's not his personality. You get what you get. We asked for this. We was accepting of this because we knew what the potential held. You just didn't want to look at the warts. Kind of like CJ, but not as intense. Same game, different stadium, though. You can make that comparison. We liked CJ until we got tired of CJ. Then we was okay with letting CJ go. And then, of course, we were justified when you saw what happened in Texas. We were justified, or not justified, but we felt some type of way when he goes to Detroit and then he gets hurt. That's what you get. Then he comes back to us, and then he has the great press conference. I was all in my feelings, you know. It's about business. It wasn't personal. All of that stuff. Then we in love with him again. Then he gets a couple penalties, and you know, it just then you fall out of love. You know, once he's gone, he's gone. I wish we would have kept him too. I'm glad we didn't though, because if we keep him, maybe we don't get Andrew McCouba. So we have to take the good with the bad. And as far as AJ Brown is concerned, you got to take everything. That's the best way to say it. You got to take everything. Let's use the most obvious example Philadelphia's ever had. Terrell Owens. You knew what you were getting. You knew you were getting that 14 carry crazy. And at the time, we had one of the best coaches in football at the time with Andy Reid. So it was we dealt with all of the antics. We dealt with, like, I don't think today's, I don't know how old you guys were when the whole TO thing happened, but like I don't think people understood, like TO was on like Desperate Housewives, bro. He did a promo with the girls from Desperate Housewives. That's how huge Terrell Owens was. Yo, this and I just thought of this. I just thought of this. And please excuse me if this comes across as disrespectful. Please excuse me. My apologies to the ladies in the building, right? But they had Terrell Owens do a Monday Night Football with the blonde chick from Desperate Housewives showing up in the Eagles locker room in nothing but a bath towel. And the insinuation was he getting ready to go out on the field and she opens the towel up and drops it. Obviously, they don't show that on television, but you knew what it was, especially if you watched the show. They did that on national television. That was the lead-in promo. They made it a little skit, all of that type of stuff. Look it up on YouTube. You can find it. And I'm saying that to say the things that you will deal with if the talent is worth it. The talent was worth it. The NFL knew exactly what they was doing. They had to approve it. They had to approve it. Terrell Owens was the hottest player in the league. Desperate Housewives was the hottest show on the air. And that girl, I forget what her name was on the show, but I just know she was the blonde girl. She was the hot blonde that was sleeping with everybody. But I mean, the whole show, everybody was sleeping with everybody, but you get what I'm saying. And then they have her show up in the locker room, like trying to tempt him not to go out and play. And then she drops her towel. Like, the things that you put up with when the talent is there. And that being the extreme example. That's the extreme example. The other side is when somebody is so rigid, you don't like them. I think of somebody like Russell Wilson. When Russell Wilson, after that second year in Seattle, when they went back to the Super Bowl and they threw that pass when they shouldn't have. That's when it went downhill for Russell Wilson. Or he would have been a back-to-back. And then people, they got tired of listening to him. And I know people, like Shannon Crowder, and say he's a square and all that kind of stuff. I got issues with that anyways. Like, yeah, I'm not even gonna get into that, but still, they fell out of love with him. You saw what they did in Denver, and let me be honest with you, I'm not the biggest Russell Wilson fan, but just when I saw what Peyton did to him on national television, and I'm like, man, you don't come at a grown man like that. But the problem was Russell Wilson let it happen. but I don't want to get too much into those weeds. The ultimate point I'm trying to make is, um, Alex, that's the perfect word. Antics. How much are we willing to put up with? Did anybody ever watch Yellowstone? Put a thumbs up in the chat if you ever watched Yellowstone. Yellowstone was a phenomenal show. Yellowstone was a phenomenal show. And what was it? What's the dude's name? The Duttons. Kevin Costner was John Dutton III. The Duttons had the big ranch. There's a scene in it, in one of I think it was the first season, and people were protesting that they raised cattle, right? So there's a face off with the people protesting, and they painted themselves, and it was a whole big scene, right? And I think John Dutton was supposed to be running for some type of political office. But in any case, there's a really cool scene where the girl starts talking about, we're here because you slaughter animals and this, that, and the other. And he just proceeds to lay into her. Like, do you know how many animals are killed for the lipstick and the jeans you wear and blah, 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 blah. And he finally goes, so the only question is, how cute does an animal have to be before you're not mad that you had to kill it? And then she shut right up. And basically, it's the same situation. How good does somebody have to be that you don't want to deal with this? And I say it like that because in the big scheme of things, if you look at everything that transpired, if you look at everything from the game we had, from the tweet afterwards, to the reaction, to the backlash, all of the kind of stuff involving this specific instance of AJ Brown, was it really that bad? Was it that bad? He tweeted a Bible verse and people lost their shit. And again, he was right. And he didn't even say anything. That's the problem. He was right. He never mentioned the passing game. Never. He didn't talk to the media. I forget who it was. They asked him about if he wanted to talk. He shook his hand and he walked out. He never talked to the media, but everybody knew what he was referring to. What does that tell you? He was right. It's not like he was making it up. The same thing happened last year after the Carolina game. They ripped him a new one, and that time the only thing he said was, we need to work on the passing game. Everybody lost their shit. He was right. In both cases, he was right. Well, I wish he didn't have to go about it that way. Neither do I. But he did. Now what? Social media has gotten everybody, players, non-players, former players, media heads, content creators. We have gotten so soft and sensitive to the point where if players don't do exactly what we want them to do, everybody loses their shit. Everybody's got an opinion on why he didn't do it. Everybody's got an opinion on, well, who was he talking about? What is the Bible? What does the Bible verse mean? It's like some of y'all ain't even read it. Some of y'all didn't even know it was a Bible verse. Some people want to discredit how some people deal with things. Daishaya, some people, grown men, do speak up. Everybody don't speak up, though. And let me be honest with you, everybody shouldn't. Some people are good with just not saying anything. Because everybody knows somebody that every time they talk, they make the situation worse. Not to mention, and I said this yesterday when me and Tone was talking, let us not forget that we dealing with somebody that is sensitive to mental health issues. He's had them himself. He told you. He told you about his doubt, his bout with suicide thoughts and things of that nature. So that is serious to him. So how he handles stress is very particular to him. And you have to honor that. You have to be aware of that. And you can't just dismiss it because you annoyed that he tweeted instead of talking to the press. Because in my opinion, for someone specifically like AJ Brown, it matters. He's not a hothead. He is very thoughtful. He is very insightful. He is measured and he knew what he was doing. And people kind of throw away the fact that, let's just say he didn't put out a tweet, and let's just say he came out and just started blasting folks in the meeting. Let's just say he did what Travis Kelce did and just start blasting Kevin Patullo on the sideline. What happens if that happens? But that's not him. That's not his personality. His personality is very introspective, introverted, and that's how he lets his steam out. Everybody deals with stress in different ways. It manifests itself with different people. Us as athletes, former athletes, we are not exempt. We are not exempt. That is his way of dealing with it. And what irritates me is people on the outside act like they don't understand it. Why would you do that? What do you mean, why would he do that? That's his way of doing shit. And what does everybody do? What everybody does is they want to throw their personality on someone else. If I was in this situation, I wouldn't do that. Well, why couldn't he just talk to the thing? Why couldn't he just talk to the and why couldn't he just go to the coaches and talk to them? Who said he didn't? I heard his comments today. He talked to Nick Sirianni every day. There was a nugget in that comment. Nobody wants to hear it though. You talk to your coach every day. You Zoom, Nick Sirianni Zoom calls you every day. Why? Well, I don't know. Maybe somebody with mental health issues needs to talk to somebody. Maybe somebody that's sensitive to Suicide Awareness Week needs to talk to somebody because they've been through it. So the way they go about their business might be a little bit different than somebody else, might be a little bit different than most people. On top of that, he does a job that only the top 1% of the world can do. He's wired differently. If you get that Maserati, if you get that Porsche Cayenne, you're not just taking it to Jiffy Lube. It's wired different. It needs something different. You ain't putting regular gas in it. You better hop on that Octane 89. You do it differently when you have that type of vehicle, when you have that type of apparatus. You treat it differently. Everybody forgets that for some reason. Everybody forgets that. How he deals with the stress is how he needs to deal with the stress. And it works for him. That's the only thing that matters. Delco, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. He didn't leave it off. Because I thought the same thing. My bad. I thought the same thing. I'm gonna show you. Hold on. Hold on for a sec. I'm gonna show you. He did not leave it off. Oh, why do I have the there we go. Still had WNBA stuff up. He did not leave it off, and I'm gonna show you. It was on Twitter. Did I repost it? AJ Brown. I wonder if he took it down. Don't look like he did. Always open, blah, 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 blah. He may have taken it down. He did not. I bet you I can find it though. AJ verse. I'm trying to find like a here we go. Bam. That's exactly what I was looking for. Bam. Y'all see that? Uh-oh. Y'all see that? Right at the top it says Mark 6. Most people don't understand what by the blood is. I think that's a biblical website. But if you know Mark 6, verse 11, I didn't realize it was a Bible verse too. Then I looked at it again and I said, oh, Mark 6 up at the top. So it was in there. It was in there. You knew that was coming. Delco, you knew that was coming. But it shouldn't matter. He didn't call anybody out. He didn't do anything like that. And if you read the verse, I said this the other day. I'm a Christian. I believe in Christ. I believe in Jesus. Sometimes you got to specify Jesus, not just God. But you get me. So when I went back and read the verse, and then I went back and I had to do a little homework. What's the context? Context is Jesus told the disciples to go and teach. However, comma, if you go to a city and they don't embrace you, dust off your shoe, dust off your feet, and leave. What does that mean when you dust off your feet? Dust off your feet just is another way of saying, hey, I wipe my hands of it. And the context says in the word it says, and when you leave that place, whatever happens to that place, you are not responsible because you came, you offered, they didn't take. If you tell me you hungry and I cook you a meal, but you tell me you don't like chicken, well, that's not my fault. You asked for something, I provided what I have. If you don't take it, you still hungry. I'm not responsible no more. You say you need money, I offer you money and you don't take it. That's on you. I'm not responsible for you anymore. I offered, you refused, I'm out. That's what that means. The dust your feet off in the text is symbolic of don't bring any of that dirt with you to wherever you're going. Or everybody's done this before, right? Oh, that's what you want to do? You don't want you got it. That's what that means. And I agree with him. That could mean anything for anybody in any situation. That applies to a whole hell of a lot of situations. But to be fair, I'm not going to expect everybody to have that perspective. I don't expect everybody to have read the Bible. I definitely don't expect everybody to have studied it. So you dealing with a lot of people who don't read it, don't study it, don't know it to understand it. That's not going to happen. And whenever you do anything like that, whenever you get cryptic, it leaves yourself, you leave yourself open to interpretation. And that's why I'm like, why you got to be cryptic? Say what you mean and mean what you say. If they don't like it, they don't like it. You were cryptic and they still don't like it. And I'm like, hey, if you gonna get me, I'm gonna make it worth my while. So that means if I know you coming, I'm gonna do what I gotta do to benefit me because you coming anyways. So let me get myself ready the way I need to get ready. So, and I believe him. I take him at his word. He wasn't trying to hurt nobody. He wasn't trying to upset the apple cart. He wasn't trying to do none of that. What he was trying to do is release his stress, release his steam. If you put a tea kettle on the stove, when does it start to whistle? When the pressure inside the tea kettle gets so high that the only release is that little hole in the top. The more pressure, the louder that whistle is. So why does he want to wait until he's about to blow his top? He doesn't. You got to release your steam somehow. And this goes back to all of those people that said, hey, I wish he would have did this. I'm annoyed that he does that. Why couldn't he just? Well, you put yourself in that situation and see what you do. Make it live on your job. If you're doing your job and you the best at your job, you the best in the business at your job. You top 5 in your company of 500. And somebody always got something to say about you. Somebody's always making your job harder, but you find a way to get it done. Despite that person, they don't ever want to turn their reports in on time. You always got to work extra because you got to cover for them because you know they're going to have issues. Everybody has been through that situation. And you find a way to still get the job done and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, your frustrations don't matter. It don't work that way. Everybody's been in that situation. Everybody's been in this. If you got kids, you've been in the situation where you do and do and do for your kids and they're ungrateful. Everybody's been in that situation. It ain't like you don't love your kids. But you still have to teach them to be grateful, to be thankful. I remember there was a guy, Derek Oden. He was a 4th round linebacker he played at Alabama when Alabama won a national championship, I believe, in 92. He was part of that team. And we drafted him. We lived in the same complex, and he used to get on my nerves. I didn't hate the guy. We used to hang out and all that kind of stuff, but he was not somebody that our past really didn't align. That's the best way I can say it. But he was cool, but you know what used to always kill me about him for as many things that used to irritate me about him? He would always say thank you. He was always polite. Even when he was being what I thought was ignorant or just coming off the cuff or something like that, he would always say thank you. He was always courteous. He was always generous. So there was a balance to it. And even if oh, dude, you get on my nerves. Whenever he asked me for something, he'd always make sure to say thank you. You know what I'm saying? So when people still do what they're supposed to do and go and do right by it, you get over that stuff. Everybody can't say that. Dankbird, I said it before. Listen, and this is for everybody that says, well, AJ just wants more targets. And I'm like, that's not what I heard. We got to figure out a way to get him involved and I'm like, do y'all understand what goes on in the meeting rooms? It's not just a coach and a player. It is a team. Kevin Patullo, Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Jahan Dotson. All the wide receivers are in there. Dallas Goedert is going to bounce back and forth because he's going to spend half the time with the wide receivers and he's going to spend half the time with the offensive line. They don't do anything on an island. Let me say that again. They don't do anything on an island. Everything they do is discussed. Everything they do, they talk about. Now, A.J. Brown probably doesn't have the final say, but A.J. Brown, I would guess, probably has a lot of influence on what they're going to do. Hey, AJ, we're playing the Broncos this week. Last time we played them, we haven't played them in a while, but this guy you played last year because he was on this team. What do you remember about him? Let's pull up the tape. Out of everything that happened with that guy on that team, now let's look at it. Let's look at what he's doing with this guy on the new team. What do you think about this? And you cause and effect. You talk back and forth. I think this route would be better. It's not like Kevin Patullo is doing all of this shit on his own. He doesn't. It don't work that way. So while I will agree, Kevin Patullo needs to do a better job getting AJ open, designing better pass patterns for everybody, a new offensive like attack scheme to attack the zones, figuring out what they're doing and attack the soft zones and the holes in the zones, right? I think he could do a better job doing that. But I also got to remember, just to be fair, Kevin Patullo's only been doing this for going into 5 games. I don't care if that he's been here for 3 years. Some of y'all got promotions after you've been at the company for 5 and 6 years. And then once you got that spot, you had a little trouble to get started. You had to, it took a couple pulls on that lawnmower before you could get up to speed. But you've been there for 5 years. You should know it by now. Don't work that way. Don't work that way. They are collectively in the meeting talking about what they're going to do. So as much as people wanted to say, hey, Jalen Hurts was responsible for that first half. Jalen Hurts was responsible for that second half calling plays against the Rams game. And it's like, okay, if that's what it takes for you to get through to your day. Well, you go ahead and roll with that. But anybody that's ever been in a meeting room, in an offensive meeting room, it don't work that way. Not in today's NFL. Because the quarterback has to be a valuable asset to the conversation. Your star wide receiver is going to have some input based on what he's seen and based on his experience playing certain players and things like that. That's just the way that it works. And you're talking about a team where Nick Sirianni has been very vocal about saying how much communication they have. Now, all of a sudden, it just goes away because AJ tweeted something. Don't work that way. Yeah, that's it. It's a strategy based on tendencies. Also, you also got to look at, like I said, the experience, because they look at every person. This is where now all of that analytical data comes into play. They look at this person, and then they say, what did this guy do on first down? What did this guy do on 1st and 15? What did he do on 2nd down? What did he do on 2nd and 8? They got it broken down on every possible down and distance configuration. They can bring up stats about everything about this specific player playing this specific position in this quarter with this much time left on the clock. They can break it down to that detail. That's what analytics does. So there's a lot that goes into this. There's levels to this that people on the radio forget. And let me be honest with you. That is the type of conversation where I look at what happened with Ryan Clark and Peter Schrager. And that's when I look at Ryan Clark and say, I understand, and you are 100% right. If you've never been in the locker room, Peter Schrager, you shouldn't be in this conversation. That's a fair statement. Because on the flip side, if Ryan Clark was doing something that wasn't up to snuff with journalistic integrity, Peter Schrager could call him on the carpet. Rightfully so. Because now that's what he is a professional at. He's got years of experience, and he would know the ins and outs better than Ryan Clark is. He could say, hey, I know you got some access because you are a former pro athlete, but let me tell you what happens now. Let me tell you what happens in this stage. He would have every right to do that. So in some situations, That is a valid statement because now we're talking about empathy. Now we're talking about empathy. I can't talk to you and tell you how it feels to lose a sister, and I still got mine. I can't talk to you on how to motivate a soccer team. I ain't never coached soccer, nor have I played it. Like, so there's some expertise. I couldn't go on a radio show and just like I see Hugh and Ike and all of them. Um, Even Ike has been on the radio longer than any other former player that I know. But there's still some people on the radio with Ike that know more than Ike does. Ike don't know more than Rhea. He wouldn't know more than Angelo or Missinelli or any of the other people up there that's been doing that for years. That was doing that when Ike was still playing. So there is a hierarchy to your education and your experience. But people want to turn it because at the end of the day, everybody wants to say, I'm right and you're wrong. Everybody wants to jump on and say, AJ Brown is wrong. He should have kept his mouth shut, blah, blah, blah. The only person that should have kept their mouth shut was Brandon Graham last year because you was giving out family business. Family business is supposed to stay in the family. And even BG knew he was wrong. That's why he came on the radio the next day and tried to walk it back. He knew he was wrong for that. That's supposed to be family business. And everybody that talks all this smack talking about sources, and I know people close to the situation, that's all bullshit. Don't believe that. That's all bullshit. Can you imagine what would happen in the locker room if they found out who was snitching? What? Wait a minute. Time out. You mean to tell me there is somebody in our locker room going around feeding information to sources? And I ain't told no what? Nah. Don't believe that bullshit. Every time Ian Rappaport, every time Adam Schefter comes on the mic with a breaking story, somebody from an organization called him and gave him that information. He ain't got a fly on the wall. He ain't got some ninja in a stealth suit hiding behind the locker room listening. He ain't got G.I. Joe type surveillance. You know what I mean? Robotic mosquitoes in the locker room with antennas listening to everything. Nah, it's not that complicated. When teams want to get information out there, they willingly give that information to a Adam Schefter, to a Ian Rappaport, or anybody else that's in that line of business. They all work together. They all work together. So don't believe that. Don't believe that bullshit. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. So back to AJ. AJ is gonna be fine. There is never, and guess what? This might not be the last time he say something. He got a right to be frustrated if the offense is looking the way it looks, because everybody wants to pile on AJ. But guess what? If the offense continues to look like this, what happens when we lose? Guess what they gonna do? Oh my God, they coming for Jalen. They coming for him. And you think AJ gonna sit around there like, see, I told you so. No, he ain't gonna do that. But again, he never said anything about the passing game. Didn't say a mumbling word about the passing game. Yet we all knew what he was talking about. That is a problem in itself. Because everybody knows what's going on. They just ain't saying it. They just want to AJ Brown is the low-hanging fruit. And everybody's attacking it. Everybody's attacking it. So it's yeah, man, you gotta pump your brakes. You gotta pump your brakes, and you need to let things play out. Now I know the media is not going to do that. I consider myself quasi part of the media because I do content creation, but I understand how the process works. I understand how the wheel turns. You see what how many how many how many pieces of content were created about Shador Sanders in the last week? Now they announced Dylan Gabriel's going to start this week. Now we got these goofy interviews with Shador pantomiming and all of that kind of stuff. And again, people are losing their shit. It ain't got nothing to do with what this boy can do on the field. Rex Ryan is losing his shit, crashing out and saying shit that ain't true. He making up stuff. You need to sit in the front. He been sitting in the front. That ain't got nothing to do with you getting an opportunity to run the offense that the team runs to see if you can handle it. They making shit up. And the truth of the matter is, it's going to be one or two things that going to happen. Dylan Gabriel is going to go out there and lay an egg. Or Dylan Gabriel is going to go out there and get hurt. One of those two things needs to happen. And then maybe they'll make him the number 2 quarterback. Because don't forget, Joe Flacco just ain't going from starter to number 3. It don't work that way. I need to make me a shirt. I got to make me a t-shirt that says it don't work that way. Let me call my sister. Joey Flacco is the number 2 quarterback. You don't become a starter and then move to number 3 after they signed you to do what you've been doing. They knew good and damn well he was 40 years old. And let me be honest with you. I was at practice when the Browns was in town. I saw Joey Flacco for myself. And guess what? He looked like the best quarterback on the Browns. Kenny Pickett didn't play. Shador got hurt. Dylan Gabriel just looked average at best. I saw that for myself. I don't know what Dylan Gabriel is going to do, but what happens if Dylan Gabriel is good? Then guess what? Dylan Gabriel is going to continue to start until something happens. Or if he sucks, guess what? Joe Flacco coming back in. They're not going to pull Shador Sanders from 3rd string, make him the starter, and that's too much. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Even if Dylan Gabriel does not have a good outing, he has got to suck something awful for them to activate and make Shador and let him play in that game. Because you already know the rules if you use a 3rd quarterback. You got to be in an emergency situation. You got to be like, remember San Francisco a couple years ago when Brock Purdy got hurt? Then the backup got hurt and they only dressed 2 quarterbacks. Then they had one of the wide receivers that used to play quarterback in college or in high school taking snaps because they didn't have nothing else they could do. And then San Francisco got mad talking about, hey, we would have beat y'all and made it to the Super Bowl, but you didn't. But you didn't. Tell your fullback to block Hassan Reddick like he was supposed to, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We got a good defense coming in. Denver is no slouch. And if we do that bipolar stuff again, Denver going to beat us at home. That's just keeping it 100. We can't have these bipolar starts. We can't be having 2 and 3 pulls at a lawnmower. We got to get that joker started on the first one. So I don't know what they're going to do different. But you better figure something out. Better figure something out. Yeah, they got a short week coming up, Alex. They got Jackson Dart. Well, Jackson Dart got hurt, didn't he? Yeah, this is a tough part of the schedule, man. And this is the frustrating thing. Even though we are 4-0, how we are playing right now, We don't have any easy games because until I see the Philadelphia Eagles have a dominant performance, we have never been 3 for 3. It's either offense, special teams. It's either offense and defense and special teams suck. Or like last week, it was defense and special teams and the offense sucked. Or the offense was good for a half, defense sucked. Then the defense was good for a half, but the offense sucked. And special teams was pretty much consistent because we blocked 3 kicks in 2 weeks. We blocked 2 field goals and a punt. So special teams is on a heater right now. But we have not been 3 for 3. We have not had a dominant offense, defense, and special teams. And special teams is like a lower grading potential. They just got to be average. Don't drop the ball. But we have not put that together yet. So until I see that, I'm worried about everybody we play. Everybody. Because at any time, we can get got. Everybody out here catching strays. Dallas tied Green Bay 40-40. Them defense wins championships, y'all. And we got a good one. And now we just got to get our offense to match what the defense is doing. That's what we got to do. Special teams is holding their own. And let's keep it a buck. Special teams done bailed us out 2 weeks in a row. If we don't get that block, punt, scoop, and score by Sidney Brown, we lose. We got to be better than that. And it's the passing offense. It's the offense in general. And AJ didn't have to tell you. You already knew. So leave him alone. He ain't the issue. The issue is he running them same ass, stale ass routes. He ran the same routes, that same play against the Rams where he caught that ball, broke that tackle, and ran over that dude. That same play was the same play we ran against Tampa Bay, and the DB came up and made a play on it and got a pass breakup. Other team get paid too. They get paid. They good over there on that defense. And we got to remember that. AJ Brown just ain't gonna beast on everybody. You got some good players on the other side of that ball. Yeah. Yeah. I can't even the run game is just infuriating to me. Even Saquon Barkley is missing holes. He done missed a couple of them where he could have took it to the house or at least made a splash play out of it. He just bailed too early, or in my opinion, he just made the wrong decision. He went right when he should have went left. That sort of thing. But it's hard to nitpick that because stuff like that happens at a split second, and I'm not sure what he's looking at. I know what I think he's looking at. If I was the running back, I know what I'd be looking at. But he zigged when he should have zagged, in my opinion. But let's be real. The offensive line is not blocking at the same clip that they blocked at last year. It's just not the same right now. Landon Dickerson's hurt. Lane Johnson's hurt. Tyler Steen is hanging in there. Fred Johnson, we got him ready to go. Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens, they on a struggle bus a little bit right now. Landon Dickerson, he ain't looked the same all year. Cam Jurgens had a rough one against the Rams and Tampa Bay, for that matter. So we're not getting the get off on the line of scrimmage is just okay. We're not pushing that defensive line back anymore. We got to pick our spots. So the best way to do that, and I keep saying it, is to stretch the defense out. Zone reads outside, make the defense chase. If the defense has to chase, it creates natural lanes, natural cutback lanes. It's not that hard. But we can't run tackle to tackle all the time. We can't do that. They expect to see run blitzes this week. Tampa Bay had a phenomenal run blitz. Wasn't even a run blitz. Basically, the linebacker shot the gap. Vita Vea attacked to his right. The tackle on his opposite side, on his left, attacked to his left. So the guard goes left, or let's say our left guard takes Vita Vea to the left. Cam Jurgens and the right guard take that right tackle to our right. And what happens is it looks like there's a hole right over the center. Then that linebacker twists right in that gap. So the linebacker shoots the gap that they are abandoning. That makes common sense. And he met Saquon Barkley in the hole, 1 yard loss. That's a good defensive play call based on the analytics. They had the right play call against the right play, and they benefited. They made the tackle, 1 yard loss. They win. Now you go to the next play and see if you can win the chess match for the next play. That's how it works. You're going to win some and you're going to lose some. We just hope that we win more than we lose. And one of the plays that we win goes for 6. If you're on defense, one of the ones that you win turns into a turnover. That's how the game works. It doesn't have anything to do with how many targets AJ gets. It has more to do with, did Jalen Hurts have time to throw the ball? Did he miss somebody? Is he looking over here when he should be looking over there? Why do you have your eyes locked on AJ and he in double coverage? Fair criticism. Yeah, I agree. Tiffany, there's nothing you can do to fix this banged up O-line. You either have somebody that can replace. If think about it like this, if Landon Dickerson is hurt, and I think that he is, if we don't have anybody good enough to replace him, they're not going to put nobody in there. Obviously, we have a backup, but if the backup was good enough, don't you think he would be in there? I'm not doubting Jeff Stoutland for a minute. If Jeff Stoutland says Landon Dickerson is the right guy, we sticking with Landon. Landon at 70% may be better than our backup at 100. So this is one of those situations where I gotta trust the professors at Stoutland University. That's what I gotta do. I gotta trust them that they know what they're talking about because they look at the film every day and I don't. So I gotta trust them. Yeah, Tiff. Matt Pryor, we know what his issue is. Yeah. But here's how I think. I agree with you. Matt Pryor probably needs to go. But they're not going to get rid of him. So now what? This is where when I say, excuse me, I have supreme trust in Vic Fangio and I have supreme trust in Jeff Stoutland. I don't have supreme trust in Kevin Patullo. I don't have supreme trust in Nick Sirianni. But those two guys, I got trust in. I do have complete trust in Clint Hurt because I've seen him work and I've seen him come through in pressure situations. So I trust Stoutland. If he thinks Landon Dickerson is the best option that we have, I'm gonna go with that until they prove they prove otherwise. Until they prove otherwise. Keely Ringo didn't have a bad game. It wasn't great. Wasn't bad though. He's probably gonna start this week. Let's see what else he can do. Let's see if he can get his hands on the ball. These things have to play themselves out. Ain't no need to rush it. Ain't no need to crash out about it. It's going to play itself out one way or the other. Whether they fix the offense or it stays exactly how it is going to play itself out one way or the other. And we just got to wait to see the outcome. That's it. That's it. The only problem with us is, and I include myself in us, is we are impatient and we want to be the ones to say we were right. We want to be able to have the "I told you so" speech. Listen to the sports talk radio. Whenever something happens, when we won the Super Bowl, all the people calling talking about, I said way back in February that if they did this, this, and this, you remember when I told you that? Pull the tape. Ain't nobody pulling no damn tapes. Everybody just wants to be right. But the big guy in the sky don't lie. So it's going to play itself out one way or the other. Vic Fangio, Nick Sirianni, Kevin Patullo, they're going to make some decisions. We going to not like some of them, and we're going to like a whole lot of others. So comes with the game. Y'all know how the sausage is made. Stop crashing out because you don't like the Bible verse. All you need to know is if we get him the ball and he gets it in his hands, he's going to make things happen. And we just got to find a way to make that happen a little bit more than we're doing right now. That's it. Salty, you late, man. Oh, damn. Salty late, y'all. Everybody put salt shakers in the chat. Oh my goodness. Good conversation tonight, man. Good conversation tonight. All right. Anybody else got anything? I'm about to get out of here. That was a good combo, man. I thought I was going to sprinkle a little bit of the WNBA and a little bit of Shador. Shador, I will say, is going to. I don't think Shador is going to play. I don't think Shador. It'll be another 2-3, unless, like I said, unless Dylan Gabriel just sucks something awful. Unless he's just horribly bad, and I don't think Dylan Gabriel is horribly bad. Now, I do think Shador Sanders ultimately is better than Dylan Gabriel, but that doesn't matter with the Cleveland Browns. Doesn't matter. So, Tiff, I don't know what happened to the link. I thought you know what? I put it up early today. I thought I did. Maybe I didn't. No, I think I did. I don't know. It's too late now. I'll make sure I put it up next time. I thought I'm pretty sure I did. Let me check. I still got my Twitterverse up. No. I thought I put it up. You're making me doubt myself, Tiff. Making me doubt myself. Let me check my profile. Did I put my link up? I did not. You are right. I am wrong. I did not. Let me see. Well, hold on now. No, I did not. I think I uploaded a couple other videos and just probably got lost in the sauce. So my apologies. You are right. I am wrong. I did not post my link up in the Twitterverse. So I'll be busy because I work during the day. So, but in any case, phenomenal conversation. I know I kind of got on the rant a little bit, but people want to project themselves on other people. Never works. Never works. But you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Everybody on the West Coast, what's up? And let's handle our business against the Broncos. So make sure you check out me and Tone. Let me see. What time is the game? No, I didn't always wear glasses. You know what? I wear these glasses now. These are just readers. But when I was working at the Apple store, when I started working at the Apple store, I did not wear glasses. Over time, looking at the back of the box, reading those barcodes, every time I would purchase or sell somebody an iPhone, reading those barcodes over time, it messed with my eyes. And then one day it was blurry. So I went down to the store in the mall and got me some like readers for like $15. And ever since then, it's hard to focus on small things. And like I can read the text crawl just fine. But if I move them now, I got nothing. So 10 a.m. on Sunday, you're right. Another 1 o'clock game. Another 1 o'clock game. So, but all right, I'm about to get up out of here. Congratulations, Dank Bird. Cousin gets certified. Um, yeah, we'll do it. I have some stuff out for you tomorrow. We'll go tomorrow night at 10:30 again. Remember, late night with Coach Marcus, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday is Friday. Y'all out and about. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 10:30 p.m. We getting it done. We getting it done. Yeah, we have surpassed 8,000 subscribers. I think right now I have. We had a good day. Right now I am at 8,026. 8,026 subscribers. Trying to get to 10,000 before the season's up, and trying to get it done. Thank you. Thank you much, Tiff. I'm grinding and growing. So I'm gonna get up out of here. Y'all have a good night, and I will talk to you all tomorrow. Tomorrow. Hope we ain't got no more media dumps. We need a break. See y'all then. Tomorrow. Go Birds.